What's up, my friends? Welcome to Chaos Live, my fun live stream. We're going to hang out with all you awesome individuals, answer your questions, have a good time, all that fun stuff. So post Thanksgiving weekend, hopefully everybody had a great Thanksgiving, a great Black Friday if you participate in Black Friday stuff, and all that just good weekend kind of stuff, all right? Awesome town. So what do we got? We got some of our Chaos Notification Platoon. So Notification Platoon individuals, VGMR, we got Jesus, we got Evie, we've got, oh, by the way, Chaos Army Commander, VG Mark, by the way. We've got, is it Ortega, we got John, we've got Tyler, we've got Edward, we got Jason, we got Frank, Jim, got Smooth, Steven, CJ, Jordan, Drama, Paradise Inn. Awesome. Good stuff. So some of you awesome individuals here early for the stream, welcome. If you guys have questions, just make sure you hit that up in the chat. I'll do my best to answer as many as possible. And sometimes if the chat gets a little crazy, then sometimes I have to skip around a little bit so I don't get too far behind on the chat. And if I do happen to skip your question, then you can ask it again, or you could hit me up on Instagram. I have an Instagram link and all sorts of other links down in the description box down below. So you can go and hit me up there and shoot me a message. Make sure you give me a follow and ask me your question there. Or you can also join the community, join the Discord channel, and you can be able to chat with awesome individuals in there. We got some verified veterans in there and all that stuff. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. Getting kind of down to the wire. I'm a little skeptical of if we're going to be able to make it before the end of this year. Still hope, but that hope is dwindling a little bit smaller. But nonetheless, we're still doing a giveaway. All right, so we still have this giveaway to give away for the month of November, which we're going to do the giveaway here in a little bit later. And we'll announce who the winner is. And then we still have another chance in December to be able to possibly win. If you want to win, there's a link down below for the road to 100K. It gives all the details. Basically, you just got to be at the live streams to enter and have a chance of winning a $100 gift card from Amazon. So, without further ado, how about we get into things and we start answering some questions, shall we? So let's move into the questions. We do have a like goal, all right? So we got right up here, right up that way, 100 likes. We always try to get to 100 likes before we end the stream. If we don't, then you got to do 100 push-ups. That's just how it works. So make sure you hit that like button so we don't have to worry about doing any push-ups and we can just knock it out of the park and be good to go. All right. People saying hi, people saying what's up. Let's see, VGMR got his wife a mixer. Good job, good deal. Let's see. Is it just Fort Hood that converted PX gasoline over to Valero? And was that special gasoline? Everything else inside is unchanged. I don't know if I paid attention on Fort Carson, so I couldn't tell you for sure. I don't know. Let's see. Scroll through it down. Got Jim saying, Sacktown in the house from California. Good deal. Welcome from California, man. Modesto, says Frank. Got the plate carrier. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. It was good. We had hot wings. Good stuff. Just asked, did you like the Vietnam War era uniforms, the OG 107s? Chris, because I love them. They're okay. I don't know if I'm not a big fan of necessarily the old school. I like the how they're bringing back the pinks and greens. I think that uniform looks kind of cool. So I think it's kind of cool they're bringing that back. Outside of that, I don't know if there's really any other old school uniforms that I really, stood out to where I was like, oh, hey, that's a cool uniform. But yeah. I got what's up, Chaos Army? What's up, CJ? Riverside, we got quite a few California people here, huh? See, Crystal, I saw that over here. My niece from Bishop. Good deal. Massachusetts. Did any unit ever do anything cool for Thanksgiving? Not really. It's usually just a big dinner kind of a thing. A lot of times I would be, still home, or like not home, but at my unit during Thanksgiving. I most often would not go home for Thanksgiving. Usually would wait until Christmas time to go home. But they usually have like a big Thanksgiving dinner kind of thing in the chow hall. I remember in Iraq they would usually go pretty all out. I'm not a big fan of Thanksgiving food, so that was always like the part I didn't really like too much, was that like I didn't want to really have Thanksgiving style food. I just wanted to have normal food when I was deployed. But there was nothing but Thanksgiving food, so you had no choice but to have Thanksgiving style food. So that I was kind of bummed about that. I don't know. I just don't like turkey, and I like stuffing. Stuffing's good, but I'd rather have hot wings. That's why we usually do hot wings. My AIT is almost 7 weeks short, I know. Do you think, should I take my car with it being short? Would I get to use that much? No. I would not bring your vehicle unless you get special permission that someone tells you you're allowed to bring your vehicle. Typically, your short AITs, anything usually less than a few months, you're not going to be able to have that kind of personal stuff. Your 5 month or your 5 week AITs, your 2 month AITs, those kind of things, you're not going to get to have your personal stuff like that, like a vehicle. And the only time, sometimes it's not even guaranteed, that I've seen people where they get to have their vehicles at AIT is like some of the really long ones. Like if you're going to be an AIT for like a year, then sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I've heard of cases where people were allowed to have their vehicle. But otherwise, no, you're most likely not going to get to have your vehicle until you get to your first duty station. Plus, you're not going to have a chance to get it anyways. It's like you won't get a break between basic and AIT. You go from basic directly to AIT, so you're not going to have an opportunity to even go home to get your vehicle in the first place. I have a few questions, but the top two being, do I need to have six-pack abs or can I have a little pudge? Also, I want to learn more about Army history, but I don't know where to look. For Army history, I don't know, online research probably. The History Channel, maybe. I don't really know too much on that one. The whole pudge thing, really, it depends on your height and weight, right? And you pass the physical fitness test is one factor, right? And then the other factor is, what is your height and weight? So there is a chart. I even have a video on it if you want to look up that, or you can even Google search Army height and weight standards. It's going to be based on your, if you're male or female, how tall you are, what your age group is, and then you have a certain limitation as to what your minimum and maximum weight can be. If you're over that weight, then that's when they have to tape you, where they take a little tape measure and measure around your neck, measure around your waist, around your stomach, I think, or chest or something. And based on those measurements, they determine your body fat percentage, and your body fat percentage has to be under a certain threshold for you to be good. So you don't necessarily have to have a six-pack, but you have to be under that weight, preferably, and also definitely being under that body fat percentage. Going 13 Juliet, Fire Control Specialist next month. Any tips? Not really, because I don't really know much of anything about that MOS, so I couldn't provide you any tips. I don't know if there's anybody like in the Discord channel that maybe if you join the Discord channel, if you're already in the Discord channel, then maybe you can hit up some of those people. There's like a specific channel where you can like ask a verified veteran, and maybe one of those veterans are in that MOS or know something about that MOS. They can offer some advice, but that's not a guarantee. But yeah, I don't have anything really. After 2 months of finally making tape, I finally went to MEPS for medical. Now I have to wait on waivers. Well, good luck to your drama. Hopefully you don't have too much drama involved with that. My drill sergeant basic had a, what is it? I don't know what that is. Tijor Pret. I don't know. Combat patch. What unit and base is that from? I have no idea off the top of my head. If I were to see it, maybe I could research it and look it up. If you really want, you can shoot it to me in a picture on Instagram if you want, or an image maybe like on the Discord channel inside of like the check this out channel or something, and maybe other people can know what the hell that patch is. But off the top of my head, I have no idea without looking at it and having to do some research to find out what unit it's from. Happy holidays. I know it's November, but I like Christmas music. Well, good deal. I'm not a big fan of Christmas music. It's okay, I guess. I'm just, I don't know, neutral, I guess, on Christmas music. So I've been MIA lately. I've been super busy. Please don't make me do push-ups. Nah, you're good. You're good. Say a draft went into effect. Can you get drafted if you already served before? Also, if you get drafted, can you volunteer to serve in another branch like the Air Force? So it would depend on how long you served for. If you served for more than 8 years, then no, you wouldn't be getting called back. If you, let's say, served 4 years and you were still in inactive reserves right now because you still have an 8-year commitment. So if you were still currently serving that other 4 years in the inactive reserves and the draft got reinitiated for whatever crazy reason, then yeah, you would get called back. As far as like picking your branch, I don't believe so. Usually it's where they need you. So they're going to fill the slots at where they need it the most and then start filling some of the other lower priority slots for after that. So most likely not. I wouldn't think so because I don't think people got to choose the branch when they got drafted before. I don't know. I wouldn't think so though. Can you explain TRICARE? I want to get TRICARE for LASIK eye surgery. Will they cover? Keep in mind, I'm a National Guard PB2. I don't know how National Guard works because I know like if you were active duty, yeah, sure. You probably could easily go and request to get LASIK surgery on active duty. I don't know how it works for Reserves National Guard. Most of the content I provide is usually for active duty individuals. Some of it does transfer over to National Guard, but when you want something specific like to the National Guard or specific to the Reserves, I couldn't really tell you. I really don't know. If you were active, I could tell you yes, most likely. I've known several people that were on active duty that were easily able to get LASIK surgery. They had to meet the requirements to need it and qualify to get it, and they had to have a certain amount of time left still in the Army, I think, too. And they could usually kind of get it that way. But on Reserves National Guard side, I couldn't tell you if that's the case or not. What units were you in the 4th ID and which other ones? So in 4th ID, I was in 410 Cav. That was my last unit before I got out of the Army. Other units that I was in 113 Armor out of Fort Riley, Kansas. They are no longer an Armor unit. Now they're a Cav unit. And I think they're actually out of Fort Bliss now or something like that. And then there's something moving around. I got my dog in here. And then I went to Korea, which I was in the JSA, which is on the border. And then I went to 30th CR. And then when they went to Fort Hood, Texas, I stayed in Carson and went to 4th ID. I'm sure you said it before. What do you teach at Carson? I have, but it's cool. I teach JCR and JBCP. So JCR being the older version of the system and JBCP being the newer version of the system. And it's a tracking software kind of a thing that is installed in pretty much a lot of the vehicles in the Army. Your Strykers, your MRAPs, your tanks, your Bradleys. A lot of vehicles have either the JCR or the JBCP installed inside the vehicle. And it's used to be able to see where you're at on the battlefield, where other friendly forces are at on the battlefield, send up reports and put up reports like spot reports and IEDs on the map so people know where these things are at, obstacle reports, all sorts of things like that. So I teach soldiers how to use that system. What subject did you have the most difficult while studying the ASVAB? I didn't study for the ASVAB. Really, it's probably going to depend on where your weaknesses are. I don't really think it's going to be a universal thing. Like I wasn't very good at math, so I did the worst in the math section of it, but it's going to be based on you. Really, I didn't really study for the ASVABs though. I did a SIL in January, then to Leonard Wood after AIT. Any thoughts on those two bases? I have never been to SIL. Leonard Wood, I was there a long ass time ago. I remember it was cold. And I didn't really get to see much because I was only there for 5 weeks for AIT. So, couldn't really tell you too much. Good luck to you. What's up, McBenz? TFR 60, what's going on? Cop 1059, what's going on? Can you do a video about theft in the military? I don't really know what I would cover. I mean, it's a lot of the same stuff. You steal something in the Army, it's no different than if you were to steal something as a civilian. You're going to get in trouble for it, and then you're going to get charged for it. So I don't feel like it would be any different than on the civilian side. Crimes are pretty much the same. What did I do for Thanksgiving? Mostly just kind of hung out. We watched some movies. Was it Thanksgiving that we watched? It was it. We watched. I think no. I think on Thanksgiving we watched the first Venom. I'd already seen it, but Mrs. Chaos had not. So we watched the first one because then on Friday we watched the sequel, the Venom Let There Be Carnage. And we checked that out. So yeah, we watched Venom, had some Thanksgiving food, relaxed, lazy most of the day, pretty much all the day I think. That was about it. Also, my wife has looked to you to answer a lot of questions about me going in at 33. I'm going 12 Tango in January. Would you ever do a vid on sappers? Yeah, probably. It'd take a little bit of research to find out all about it because I really don't know anything naturally about sapper school and everything, or about what sappers do. So it'd take a little bit of research probably, but yeah, I could see that being a video maybe sometime in the future at some point in time, maybe. I don't know when, how long away that could possibly be, but yeah, it's possible. My cousin's son, who's stationed at Fort Hood, asked if he can install a Ring doorbell in his barracks room. Any idea if he can have one? Maybe? I don't see why not. I mean, I would be worried about it, though. I feel like that thing would get messed up. So it'd be hard to probably install on the outside of the room because you probably would have to do it in some way that could easily be removed without leaving any kind of damage to the wall type of thing. And you obviously would have a hard time powering it. So you'd have to pull it off the wall and charge it every so often to keep it charged. That would be the problem. We're like, you know, like I have one of those kind of wireless, or not wireless, but one of those kind of like video doorbell things. And it's wired into where the existing doorbell was to provide power to it, right? If you don't have that, then you have to charge it. So like a Ring one, we'd have to take it off the wall, charge it, let it charge for a while, and then put it back out there. I would still be probably worried about like someone in the barracks being an asshole and messing with it and knocking it off of the wall or stealing it or something horrible. They'd probably just have to check with someone like one of their leadership probably individuals to see if they would care. Maybe. I feel like it probably would be a bad idea. I feel like you would get, people would just mess with it all the time. People just constantly see that on the wall and just walk past it and press the button and then walk off down the hallway, and you'd end up with all these people just ringing the doorbell just because it'd be fun. Last time I was on your live stream was at MEPS. Now I'm in AIT. Man, well, good deal, Brooks. Hopefully basic went well and you conquered the hell out of it, and now AIT is going awesome and you're doing just amazing in AIT, hopefully. Do you have to be on the live to win? I might fall asleep. No, you don't. I'm probably going to announce the winner. I've already selected the winner through a special way, and I'm going to tell you guys about that. But I'm probably going to do that here in a little bit. What do we got for likes? Maybe let's get to 40 likes. At 40 likes, I'm going to announce who the winner is and tell you guys how I went about deciding who the winner was from the entries that entered into the drawing from this month. Oops. Is it hard to land an 18 X-ray contract? From what I've heard, not necessarily, because they usually try to get a large pool of individuals to get into it, because it's going to be a small percentage of people that even make it through the training to even go on to it. So sometimes they have like a test they'll have you do, like physical wise, to make sure you're not a big waste of time going there. But for the most part, from what I've heard, it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like it's usually pretty simple to get the 18 X-ray contract. Of course, to actually make it an 18 series MOS, to make it Special Forces, that's a different story. That's much, much more harder. But I've heard that it's fairly easy to get an 18 X-ray contract. Especially because if you don't make it, then you're locked in for like 6 years. So they got your ass for 6 years, and they get to put you in whatever MOS they want. What ASVAB score do you need for 31 kilo? I don't know that stuff off the top of my head. I don't have it memorized. If you Google 31 kilo, you'll probably get the Army's website, and it'll probably mention it on their website. Oops. I report once to RSP in December. Will I be issued my OCPs If so, will I have them throughout basic combat training or be issued new ones when I get there? What's RSP? Is that for like free? Like you're going like when you do... So normally you get your uniforms in basic. There's not usually a case where you'll get your uniforms issued to you prior to basic. So if you have something you're going to prior to basic training, probably not. You should get your uniforms in basic training is when you would get that kind of stuff, I would believe. How long can you stay in the Army for? I think it's a maximum age limit. It's not necessarily a maximum years. I don't think you can stay in the Army past the age of 60 or 65. Something in the 60s, I want to say. Maybe it's like 63, something like that. There's an age requirement. So you could do more than 20 years. You can do like 30 years, right? If you join early enough, you can do quite a long time in the Army, but I think it's the age that you get to a certain age, and then they're going to be like, no, you have to retire. You can put in for retirement after 20 years, and hell, you can even just ETS out of the Army, just do a 4-year contract and get out. But I think it's more of an age limit as far as your max. What we got? 38 likes? A couple more likes and we'll announce the winner. Just have a 110 GT score to get started for 18 X-ray. Yeah, I mean, you have the GT requirement, and I think they have like a pre-physical that they'll have you do to make sure you're in good enough shape, so you're not wasting any time as well. And you also have to be a certain age. You have to be, what is it, 22? You have to be able to come in the Army as a PFC, as an E3. So, I mean, you have to meet those requirements still. Can someone in the inactive reserves be called back but then reclassify into an MOS that the Army needs? Yeah, probably. I feel like that could be a possibility. I guess it might depend on some things. Like if they really need that, they brought you back because of your MOS. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm sure there's probably some stipulations with that. All right, 43 likes. So let's go through the winner for the giveaway. All right, so we have this giveaway going on. We gave away a $100 Amazon gift card in October. So we've got another one to give away this month, and then one more to give away in December for the final one to close out the year. So if you were at some of the previous live streams, you had a chance to enter into that drawing by either entering a number that I gave or a phrase that I gave or something, some kind of instructions you had to do to enter into the chat to be entered. I captured all those names. I added to a spreadsheet and everything. And then you also had to make sure that you have your email address registered, right? I have a link down in the description box you have to go to be able to tell me what is your YouTube username and what is your email address. That way, if I pick your YouTube username, I know what email address to send the gift card to, all right? So Friday, I sent out an email, right, to give people a heads up. Hey, the drawing is going to be this Sunday during this live stream. If you got this email, then you must be good, right? And you're all set. On Saturday, on Saturday, I put out a little word thing to let people know, hey, if you didn't get that email, then it's possible that you're not registered. But I noticed there was a smaller percentage of people that actually opened that email on Friday. So that got me thinking. I was like, you know what? I would hate to reward, let's say, someone with an awesome $100 gift card, and it turns out that I go and they win the gift card. I send them an email to give them the link to redeem the gift card, and they don't see it. I mean, they didn't open my email, so maybe they end up not opening up this email for like a couple of weeks or whatever, and now it's expired or whatever the deal is, and they didn't actually redeem the gift card or whatever the case was. So I wanted to make sure there was some way that hopefully I can make sure that the winner was someone that actually participates and actually is here, right? So what I did is I looked at the people that did open up the email, right? And compared that to the people that actually were registered for the drawing. They actually gave out the number or the phrase inside the chat to actually be entered into the drawing. So comparing those names of who was already entered and who actually opened the email, I went to see who was some of the first people to open up that email right away, right? Some of the early people to, hey, I got a new email from Christopher Chaos. Let's see what the email says. And they opened it up, right? There was actually 2 people. They were the first 2 to open up the email, but they weren't registered in the month of November's giveaway, so they didn't win. But the third person that opened up the email, all within the first like 30 minutes of the email going out, was registered. So I picked that person to win. And I might do something a little bit different maybe next month. Do something, because last month we did a random number, and that random number equated to someone on the list to get the gift card. This time it was the first person that opened up my email and was registered from one of the previous live streams of the month of November. So the winner of the $100 Amazon gift card that I will be sending an email to, the username on YouTube is Big D. So Big D is going to be getting an email sometime this week with a code or redemption thing to be able to redeem the $100 Amazon gift card. So congratulations to that individual. They don't have to be here during the live stream. They'll probably get an email, or if they rewatch this later or whatever the case is, or maybe they are here and they're just not chatting, I don't know. But that person is the winner of the gift card. So if you want to win a $100 gift card, you have one more chance. So make sure that you are at the next live streams for the month of December when we do several live streams, and you'll have a chance to enter your name into that. Make sure your email address is registered, and if your name is entered in there, you'll have a chance at possibly winning that $100 gift card. All right, maybe we'll do it a little bit differently for the month of December one to reward somebody. Maybe we'll just do a random number again like I did for October. So there you go. So that's your winner. I'll be sending that person an email a little bit later. So let's go back to your questions. Let's see. Tips to rank up. I already did that one. Or did I? No, I didn't. Tips to rank up before shipping to basic training. How hard is it? The only way you really can rank up before basic is if you were to get somebody to sign up, like through a referral program, or if you had education, like college education or something. Don't you have to be activated? So for the inactive reserves, yeah, I mean for that, yeah. So if you were in for 4 years and you still have another 4 years of inactive reserves, and if they had something that came up crazy, then you could be reactivated to go back in. But after you've been in the Army and the inactive reserves, let's say in that case 4 years in the military, even in general, because it doesn't matter your branch, 4 years and then 4 years on inactive reserves, and then they can't call you back anymore. Or if you did more than 8 years in the military altogether, then when you got out, you didn't have any inactive reserve responsibility. That was like I did, because I did a little over 10 years. I didn't have any inactive reserve responsibility, so they couldn't call me back, kind of thing. I think they can go around that some ways in like really dire kind of need type of things, but I'm sure that's some really heavy stuff nowadays that would have to be going on for that kind of to happen. This was a fun 4-day weekend. Sad it's over. It's always sad. It's always the first 5 days after the weekend that are the hardest. Rough. No more boot camp for some Marines, I'm hearing. What's up? I have not heard that, so I could not tell you. What, they're just gonna bring people into the military with absolute zero training and be like, good luck, figure it out. I mean, I can maybe see that for if you're a prior military, they do that with anyways, depending on how long you've been out. So I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But otherwise, I feel like that would be a little difficult. I couldn't tell you. I don't think I've heard anything about anything like that. What was your experience with Fort Riley as a duty station? It sucked. I didn't like it because there really wasn't much to do in the area. The main things that were big about the area was like fishing, hunting, those kinds of things were pretty big. But outside of that, there wasn't a whole lot to do, unless you just want to go partying kind of a thing. There wasn't anything really that much fun to do in Fort Riley, so I didn't really like it. The nearby towns weren't that great. They had certain things about them that were cool, but overall, for the most part, weren't that great, so I didn't really like Fort Riley. And that's usually the case for a lot of people. What's the blended retirement system? I couldn't tell you very well. I don't know it well enough to be able to give a good explanation on the blended retirement system. Are those your combat patches? If so, what units, duty stations did you deploy? Yeah, these are the 2 units I deployed with to combat. First one was 3rd ACR out of Fort Carson, and then 4th ID also out of Fort Carson. So, VGMR is going to make popcorn. All right, make sure you bring enough for everybody. If you're in the Marine Corps, say 8.5 years, and go to, say, the Army in 6 months, could you get a service stripe? No, because so like, what are you saying? Trying to say, like, so like if you had a break in service, that break in service doesn't count for anything, right? So if you did 8 years in the Marines, 8 years and even 8.5 years, then that's the amount of time that you get for on duty. If you got out and then 6 months later went back in, you have a break in service, that time doesn't count towards your overall time in the military. It just continues where you left off. So you just continue where you left off at. You do it that way. Props to the older folks signing up. My oldest soldier I'm in charge of is a PFC and almost 34. Yeah, I know that's kind of a crazy thing. I remember my first deployment in Iraq. This was mainly because of reserves. It's hard to rank up in the reserves, but me being a sergeant, I was in charge of, for like a day or two or whatever it was, I had to be the sergeant of the guard for the DFAC for the guards there. So I had to get stuck with that for like a day or two. And some of the guards that I was in charge of, there was one of them I remember he was an E4. He was probably like in his 40s maybe, I think. And I was at that time in my 20s. I was in charge of that guy, right? I've had other individuals too. Like I actually had a soldier in my last unit before I got out of the Army. He was in his late 30s and I was in like my late 20s. And I was in charge of him. So yeah, it happens. And he was like a PFC, I think the highest he got to, maybe a specialist. How did I know the Army was for me? I don't know. I just kind of just went with it. I don't know necessarily, like, it wasn't like anything magical. Like I was like, you know what? I just had this premonition one day. I was sitting down watching Pauly Shore in the Army Now, and I was like, you know what? The Army's for me. Now, it was more of a thing where I wanted to join the military. I wanted to get some experience. The Army just kind of seemed convenient at the time, so I just went for the Army. I don't know anything about Fort Campbell. Did you want jump school, or did you just not get the chance? No, never interested in jumping out of a perfectly good plane. I'd rather land with it. Broke my leg in basics. I was a 20-week journey. Damn. Jackson has a crappy health system. That sounds like it sucks. So glad, I guess, you made it out of that, I guess, now. What do we have for likes? 47 likes. Oh, I'm sure where we at for time frame. Yeah, got about half hour, so we got it. Not even halfway just yet. Make sure you hit that like button so we get to our like goal of 100. What's up, Chaos? I plan to enlist in 6 months. I'm gonna take this time to get better strength and cardio before I sign up. Your videos have answered a lot of my questions. Well, good deal. Hopefully, it was Aaron Sanchez. Hopefully all goes well and you get into great shape and everything turns out amazing. Thanks for watching, man. Hi, Chris. How are you and your family? I just got on YouTube. We're good. All is gravy. The modern drill sergeant, it's too soft compared to those ones in Vietnam War era. Maybe it might just be different. The funny thing is like, if you guys haven't seen it, I did a reaction video to 80s basic training, right? And of course, you know, some people were like, oh no, this is probably just the watered down version that you got to see. But yet those will probably be the same people that if they see like some of the recent Army basic training videos, they'd be like, man, these guys, these pansies have it super easy. What the hell? And they don't understand that maybe that's the watered down version too, right? So I don't know. I don't know what it was like in the World War II era for basic training. Sure, we've all heard war stories about how hard it was back then. They had to walk uphill both ways barefoot in the snow during basic, but you know, there could be aspects of it that are harder and some that are easier. I mean, it's not to say that maybe there was some stuff that was maybe even easier back then, and maybe just the things that were harder back then are easier now, but some of the things that were easy back then are harder now. So sometimes it's flip-flops. And that's a lot of what I saw with that 80s basic training video. Was there was things that were pretty easy back then that are hard now, but also things that were pretty hard back then that are easy or whatever. You know, it just flip-flops. Just it's different. I have my ASVAB test coming in January. Pray for me, guys, to pass the ASVAB test. Well, good luck to you. Hopefully it goes well. Am I doing okay in the chat? Nah, not too far behind. Rolling with this. I graduated about a month ago. Study because you would be taking written tests? For what? Is that for AIT or giving someone tips about? I'm an 11 Charlie, and I've been stationed at Hood in 3CR for the last 3 years. I'm PCS in Fort Carson in June. Any advice you can give? I'm an E5 with a family, so on or off post do you suggest? I don't know. Some of the on or off post thing usually depends on personal preference as far as do you want that, like, because sometimes they're strict with on post housing. Like if you have, so you're an E5, if you're an E5 with kids, you might get pretty nice housing. If it's just you and your spouse, it's a little bit iffy on E5 housing on post. You might be able to get something better off post. So some of it depends on you, probably. If you don't mind, some of the restrictions that come with on post housing, like where you have to make sure your lawn looks great and you can't have certain things looking a certain way, and potentially they could come and inspect your house, which that's usually not a thing that ever happens, but potentially they could. So that's usually a pain. But most people prefer to live off post, but I think it depends on your personal preference. But Fort Carson's great. I love it here. I think it's great. And if you ever take a JCR, JVCP class, then I might be your instructor. You might not need to as 11 Charlie, so that might not be a thing you do, though. Super Chat! VGMR with a Super Chat. The 80s synth music on those videos made me die laughing. Yeah, it was very 80s vibe going on throughout the whole video. So it was kind of funny in that kind of aspect of it. But yeah, it was a pretty good little video. I got another different basic training video to do a reaction for tomorrow's video. So if you like the reaction style videos, another one comes tomorrow. So thanks for the Super Chat, BGMR. Appreciate you. You didn't download any of those songs to make a mixtape to jam out in the vehicle while you're cruising around? Let's see. Scrolling through a little bit. You said you were going to draw a random person from the database. Essentially, that's what we did for the first one. But for this one, I decided to mix it up a little bit. We'll see if I do that for the next one. But you still had to be entered, right? So like the winner was in the database. So someone in the database. I just changed up how I decided who in the database won. So like last month, it was a random number to equate to someone. This month, I did it where the first person to open up the email from Friday that was also in the database ends up being the winner. Next month, we might do something different. So the main thing is just make sure you're in the database, because that's the way to get your chance at winning, is being in that database. If you're not in that database, you're not going to win. So just because you have your email address linked to like the whole database thing that I have for being able to email someone doesn't enter you in the giveaway. Being at the live streams enters you in the giveaway. So that's the key thing, and that's how that person ended up winning. Was they were at the live streams. They actually had multiple entries into the giveaway, but they were also the first person that was also entered in the giveaway for November that opened up the email. So just working it differently, make it different ways for being able to win. But the key thing is being in that database. VGMR with another super chat, man. If you ever find those generic cringe themes, I will remix it and make it a rock and post in Discord if I find it. They're pretty generic. I think they use like the same song in both of the videos. So it's probably something they had in their library to be able to use to make the videos with. And it was the same narrator too. So it's probably something pretty generic to them. Thanks for the super chat again, my friend. Let's see. See, maybe we're about where I left off ish. What happens if you don't pass your original AIT training course and chosen MOS after boot camp? How long does it take for MOS transfer? I don't know how long it takes. Commonly, you might get like maybe 1 or 2 attempts at trying to pass. Like if there was a test during AIT that you failed, you might get another opportunity to retake that test. And if you fail it again, then they might choose to make you go to another MOS. Maybe. I think it just depends on leadership as far as how many opportunities they want to give you before they reclass you. And then as far as how long it takes, I don't know. It just probably depends on how long before that AIT starts up, because if you fail that MOS, then they're going to put you in an MOS that they wanted to put you in, like where they're needed. Like if they're really short on personnel in a specific MOS, they're probably going to stick you in that MOS. And then whenever the next class is going to start up, that could be in a week, maybe 4 weeks, who knows. And then they're probably going to send you off to that. And in the meantime, before you ship off to that new AIT to change jobs, you're probably going to be stuck doing a bunch of crappy details and clean up things, and all sorts of crappy stuff probably in the process. Any idea if I would need some IRR time for getting out at 7 years, 8 months? Probably, but really short. It would probably just be a really short IRR time where you probably wouldn't even notice. So for like, what, a couple months, a few months, you'd be in the inactive reserves? Probably. You probably just wouldn't notice. You probably would never have to do anything. Usually, like the people that are in like the IRR for several years, they might get stuck having to go and do some kind of like online survey, or have to show up somewheres to go and do some little class or something like that, and they'll get paid to do that. Same with the online survey too. You usually get paid to do it. But with that being that short, being only a few months kind of a thing, then you probably wouldn't even notice that you're in the IRR. So probably wouldn't even be a thing. Did you make a video on sniper? I did. Yes, there is a video on how to become a sniper. Fort Riley sucks. It does. Fort Riley is no fun at all. Do not like Fort Riley one bit. Sorry. Some people like it though, especially like if you're a big hunter or fisher kind of person, then you might love Fort Riley and it might be amazing. Maybe you have family in the area, then you might be good. Can you join the Army Reserves if you have autism? Also, thank you for your service. It depends. I think it depends on the severity of the autism type of thing. I don't know all of it. A lot of it comes down to a doctor doing an examination as far as how autism affects you, kind of a thing. So, yeah, it would be based on the determination from a MEPS doctor, probably. I don't think right off the bat just simply having autism is a disqualifier. I think it depends on the severity of it, I believe. Where do I go to get a template on how to put together an OCS packet? I don't know. Maybe from a recruiter? Check with a recruiter, maybe? Couldn't tell you for sure, though. So I watched Hot Shots. You would have went Navy. Why would I have gone? Because of Hot Shots? Oh, if you watched Hot Shots, then you would have gone Navy. I don't know, maybe. Good evening, Chris. How much do a soldier usually spend on monthly base? I guess it depends on what bills they have, right? If they have a cell phone bill, if they have the internet, if they have a car payment, car insurance, right? If you're a single soldier, you probably don't have a whole lot of bills, and because you live on post for free, you live in the barracks. Maybe you just have a cell phone bill and the internet, if you have internet in your barracks. And then if you have a car, then you maybe have a car payment, maybe you have car insurance. So I don't know, it could really depend on the soldier, really. I've been hearing that the food in the DFAC during AIT has been horrible. Sometimes they don't even have the proper silverware, if any at all. They are short on a lot of basic necessities. I don't know if I've heard that. Maybe. I mean, usually they would probably fix that real quick, I would imagine. But I don't know if I've heard that or not. Should I buy a car, not an expensive one, while I was in the military? It's up to you. It depends, right? You have to. Usually, most units want you to get with your leadership to kind of make sure you don't get like, not really scammed, but like get screwed over with like a really crappy interest rate if you're trying to buy one. If you're trying to buy something really cheap, then that might be a good idea. I guess it just depends. Personal kind of needs, right? Do you need it to be able to go around and do fun stuff, or could you live with just taking Uber and getting a ride from your friends all the time? So it just depends, I guess. What are we doing on time? 51 minutes. We're at 57 likes. Trying to get to 100 likes, my friends. Take a look down below. If you have not yet liked the stream, make sure you hit that like button so we can try to get to our goal of 100 likes before this stream ends. I can't do it without you guys. So hit that like button. I'll scroll down a little bit. I'm 17 and shipped to basic 5 July as E3. To Jackson, any advice for preparing for Army in general? Just make sure you're in good shape. It's usually the main thing. You know, make sure you work out, make sure you have good cardio, do some studying, know your ranks, and know some basic stuff to make it a little bit easier while you're in basic. But yeah, I mean, being in good shape is usually a pretty good one. Just to make things easier. Basic training will usually whip you into shape, but if you can go into it already in shape, it'll make it just that much easier for you. Chris, any tips for finding an apartment? Because most of a nice hotel are super expensive. I'm looking online, Zillow. I don't. Hear me out. Even married soldiers who live in post housing need a search warrant for their unit to inspect your quarters just because they feel like it. Yeah, there's always crazy stuff. They always threaten saying that they can do a inspection on your on post housing place, but there's always these crazy other loopholes that usually they just don't want to mess with anyways, because I think they have to, if your spouse is not in the military, then they have to get your spouse to approve it. And if your spouse says, no, I don't want you in my home, then they can't do anything. And then, yeah, if they really had to, inspect it, then they got to get a search warrant. So most of the time, I mean, people always threaten about it, but I don't think they ever do actually do an on-post inspection in on-post housing. It's usually just more of a barracks thing. But you'll get a lot of people that always threaten that, even though usually you don't actually go through it, because it's a lot harder than they realize, or they know it is, and they're just trying to scare you in the first place. I don't know. When I was in the IRR, we had annual weekend musters. Man, yeah, I've heard from some people that are in the IRR longer than usually get stuck with that. Some people that are in it for shorter don't even usually notice. Oops. Do I like the ACU because it's my favorite uniform? It's okay. I mean, it wasn't the greatest. You talking about the digital camouflage one? Technically, the one they use now is still called the ACUs because it's still the Army combat uniform. There's just one that's the digital pattern and one that has the OCP pattern. So it kind of depends on the terminology. If you look online, you'll see that a lot of official military terminology still calls it the ACU, even though it's a different pattern, because it's still the Army combat uniform. So it's kind of tricky. But if you're talking about the digital camouflage uniform, wasn't that great. Probably like the BDU uniform better than the digital pattern uniform. But I like the current one the best, probably. Fort Carson, the best place for camping because I love to camp and hike. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great places to either go camping on a BLM land or campgrounds or whatever you want to do. So yeah, there's a lot of that. Hey Chris, what was the best and worst part of your time in the Army? Also, what was your highs and lows in the Army? Man, I don't know. Worst part, basic maybe. Deployments sucked. Best time, usually you do some fun things with some friends that you've gotten to meet and everything, and you go partying with them. Sometimes some of the barracks parties were even kind of fun. So those are pretty cool. I don't know. A little bit of that, maybe basic and deployments, probably the worst. Best, some of the partying times I think I had with friends, either in the barracks or outside the barracks, was always pretty cool. But don't get caught up to where you're always partying, then that kind of screws you over. Kind of were talking about this earlier. What's the policy on getting LASIK surgery in the Army, kind of thing? I don't know what the policy is. I've known a few people that have done it in the Army. I think they had to have a certain amount of time left in the Army, and also have to get examined by a doctor to make sure they're qualified for it, and they're a good candidate to be able to get LASIK. So there's just that. But I'm sure there's probably more requirements outside of it than just that. But I don't know what all of them are. I want to thank you. After I graduate in a couple of months, I'll be heading off to basic training. You've helped me prepare a lot. Well, awesome. Good luck to you. Hopefully all goes well, and good luck to you in basic training and AIT and your Army career or whatever, whether it's short or long. Good luck to you. If I was in the Marine Corps for 8.5, didn't we already do this one? Years and 6 months in the Army, you get that. So, yeah, I mean, if you, because I mean, your time total still counts the same. So whether you were in the Air Force, the Marines, the Navy, whatever, and then you switch to another branch of service, it's still your overall time frame of being in the military. It doesn't matter what branch you're in; it's just the military in general. So yeah, that wouldn't matter. But it has to be actually time in, not any kind of break in service. Do you get to select your weapon, or does the Army assign you a weapon? No, they just assign it to you. For the most part, most people get the M4, right? There's only a few MOSs and certain responsibilities where you'll get like a 9mm. Tankers will usually get issued like a 9mm. MPs will probably get issued like a 9mm. And you don't get to keep it. It stays in arms room. You just use it during training events and certain other time frames too. And then usually when you're higher ranking or an officer, you might get issued a 9mm, but the majority of the Army, you're getting a M4, and then you have certain other occasions where you'll get like the 249 or something, or you'll get an M4 with a 203 grenade launcher attached to it, those kind of things, and that just gets handed out to select people, but you don't get to usually pick. You can kind of volunteer to be like the saw gunner if you really want to sometimes, but that's about it. I once had an 8 in an Air Force defect, and they were horrible. And you believe that they actually tried to serve us lobster with no butter? Damn, that's rough. I don't think I've ever eaten in another branch of military's dining facility. It's always just been the Army's dining facility. I don't think I've ever eaten in a different branch of services dining facility. When you're eating in the chow hall at basic, are you able to eat in peace? Or is it like the Marines where they yell at you and ask you history questions? I don't know if you're necessarily eating in peace. They don't. Occasionally, they might do stuff where they might ask you questions about like to drill you on like the your general orders or something else like that. But most of the time, it's like a hurry up and eat kind of a thing. Don't look around. Like you should be looking only down at your food. If you start looking around, you start looking at what other people are doing. That's when the drill sergeants start yelling at you, like, "Why the hell are you looking around?" kind of a thing. But I wouldn't necessarily say you're eating in peace either, because the drill sergeants are probably still yelling at other people. So you're trying to hurry up and eat and get the hell out of there to get back outside. And the drill sergeants are probably catching other people that are looking around or doing something they're not supposed to be doing. And so the drill sergeants are yelling at people while you're trying to eat. And it's more of a thing of just eat now, taste it later, and get the hell outside kind of a thing. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's eating in peace, but you're not always getting drilled on questions either. What was it like living in your first apartment, Chris? It was awesome. I liked getting out of the barracks. It was good to experience the freedom of not being in the barracks, but you got to make sure it's the thing you can afford, right? I was a sergeant E5. My car was paid off, so I didn't have a car payment or anything, because I had just come back from Iraq and was able to pay off my car and had a lot of money saved up too. So, you know, it was fun. It was pretty cool. Got a 75 in my ASVAB. How hard would it be to get into a 17 Charlie? I don't know if a 75 would get you there. I know the qualifications for 17 Charlie are pretty high. You would have to look it up either online. I also have a video that kind of explains some of the stuff too for 17 Charlie, and you can check that out. But I think that like the GT score part of the ASVAB has to be like a 110 or something like that. It has to be pretty high, and a couple other scores have to be pretty high for a 17 Charlie, so it's pretty tough to qualify for. Hey Chris, any tips to memorize the Army song, creed, rank structure? I mean, rank structure is pretty easy. You just study it a lot, maybe watch my videos over and over again, maybe. Make some flashcards. The song, you probably just got to sing it often. Soldier's Creed, recite it all the time, right? I would, like for the NCO Creed, I would do like paragraphs, right? Where I would just memorize one paragraph at a time and get really good at that one paragraph. And then once I was really good at that one paragraph, then move on to the next paragraph and then start combining it and just kind of through repetitiveness. So you just have to find your own kind of techniques probably for doing that. But those kind of things usually are helpful. Flashcards, just practicing constantly with the Army song or the Army Creed or the Soldier's Creed, that kind of stuff. How we doing on time? We're exactly 1 hour now, so about 15 more minutes probably left in the stream. We're at 65 likes. Got the feeling we won't make it to 100 today, guys. Got that feeling. You know, got people that are probably hungover still from Thanksgiving weekend and Black Friday shopping and all that stuff that weren't able to make it out to the live stream today. You know, still trying to recover so they can get back to work, back to school, whatever you got going on Monday. They're probably struggling right now. They couldn't make it to the live stream. And I understand. I get it. It happens. But hey, if you are here and you have not hit that like button down below, make sure you hit that like button so we can try to get closer, at least, maybe, to that 100 goal. We'll see. I'm thinking about coming in at the age of 26 for a change of pace in my life. Do you have any tips on how to go about being an older than most recruits? Not really. I mean, it's the same for everybody, really. I mean, if you just make sure you're in good shape so that people can't hassle you for being older. I mean, being 26 is still very young, right? But when everybody else is 18, 19 kind of thing, they're going to call you the old guy, right? Even though 26 is not old at all. But, you know, just got to have thick skin to be okay with that. You're probably going to have some times where people are going to be younger than you that outrank you because they joined at 18. So you just got to be okay with taking instructions and, you know, being yelled at possibly even by someone who is younger than you because they outrank you. So just those kind of things. Be prepared mentally for that kind of stuff. Make sure you're in great shape so that way you don't have any excuses to hold you back and all that kind of stuff. And good luck to you, though. What years did you serve? Where was your basic and what MOS? Man, are you new here? What's going on, man? I served from 99 to 2010. I did basic in Fort Benning, and I was an 88 Mike. All of that information is inside my bio on my YouTube channel. Do introverts have a bad time in the Army, i.e. the quiet guy? Kind of. You can. It just depends. Sometimes those people, you know, they're not they don't give off the impression of being very motivated. So that kind of causes some problems. Yeah, I mean, it can. It just kind of depends, I guess. It's hard to kind of explain, I guess, really. I've known a few people that were kind of like that, where they were very shy and very quiet and everything, and they usually wouldn't make a big impression on you, right? Because they were just kind of like hidden in the shadows. So they weren't the kind of person that you would be like, hey, so-and-so is very motivated and gung-ho about the mission. Let's have that person be in charge and take charge for this thing, you know? So that wouldn't happen, right? You probably wouldn't give them any kind of thing. There was a person that was pretty quiet, but they were really good at driving the truck. So I knew that. So I would usually give them some higher responsibility for like their vehicles when it comes to like, you know, making sure the vehicles are backed up properly or the trailers are backed up properly. But outside of that, you know, if you don't have any kind of big impression you make on someone, then it can make it pretty tough. It's another super chat from VGMR. Man, VGMR, save some of that money for Christmas. You got Christmas coming around. You got to get some gifts out there to loved ones and all that kind of stuff. But I appreciate it, though. Imagine memorizing Soldier Creed, NCO Creed, and the stuff everyone has to know, plus the air defense artillery song as well. There's a lot of things you usually have to memorize in the military. You know, your general orders, Soldier's Creed. I don't think I ever really had to memorize the Army song, but that can vary sometimes by place to place. NCO Creed. The NCO Creed's long too. That's a difficult thing too. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff sometimes you have to memorize. You just got to find your own kind of techniques to be able to memorize stuff sometimes, though. But yeah, appreciate the super chat again, my friend. Let's see. We'll skip through the chat a little bit. Air Force defects are awesome. I don't think we're reading an Air Force defact. How was it being in the gas chamber for basic training, and through all the training and basic training? I mean, gas chamber sucks. It's horrible. Little inside tip, not necessarily inside tip, I guess, but little heads up for those of you here at the stream. I've got another YouTube channel that I'm working on right now. Actually, a couple of them, but I just did a video. Right, it's just like a cool video of some soldiers going through the gas chamber with some cool music in the background and just showing some visuals and stuff like that. So there's this other channel that I'm starting to create that I'm going to start creating that kind of stuff and other kind of military content, just something a little easier to edit together. That's maybe a motivational, funny, awesome kind of a thing. Not really educational like I do on this channel. I'm gonna be messing with that here as we're coming along. That channel is the Redcon 2 TV. I got one video on that one, and then another channel I'm working on is, but the reason why I mentioned that Redcon 2 TV thing is I have a video on the gas chamber thing, and then the other channel is the 2 Minute Army. Well, I'll do like shorter videos on there, and I got one video on there too, but I'm working on those. But yeah, for the gas chamber thing, it sucks. It's horrible. You can see a video on that channel as far as what it's like going through it, but yeah, it's no fun. Super chat from John Franco. Appreciate you, man. I pushed a lot of Germany to learn the NCO Creed. Pushed a lot of Germany? You mean you pushed a lot of Germany to learn the NCO Creed? So you tried to like Germans? You tried to get Germans to learn the NCO Creed? Or you did a lot of push-ups in Germany to learn the NCO Creed? Not sure where you're going with this, but I appreciate the super chat. You may have to clarify, because otherwise just that is kind of sounds like you pushed a lot of Germany to learn the NCO Creed. Sounds like to me you were trying to get Germans to learn the NCO Creed. Thanks for the super chat, my friend. Let's see. How hard is it qualify for 31 Delta Criminal Investigator Special Agent? I've watched your video about that MOS. It's fairly challenging. It's pretty tough. I don't think it's an easy thing to qualify for. So I'm sure it's, I don't know firsthand experience. I couldn't tell you for sure. But from stories I've heard, it sounds like it's a challenge. But it's pretty tough. Evie says, sing the Army song every night to remember it. I mean, that's probably one way. Wake up in the morning singing it. Like we used to have to do it, I think, in the morning. Was it like an AIT or in basic training? We would have to sing it. I remember part of it still, even to this day, that first to fight for your right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. That kind of thing, right? I still remember some of it. I think we had to sing it all the time, like in the morning. Like after the flag went up or something like that. I don't remember when it was. But yeah, I mean, songs I feel like are easier to memorize compared to like the NCO Creed and the Soldier's Creed. I feel like that's a little bit harder. Whereas a song, I feel like it's a little bit easier to learn. Let's see what's John saying. Did a lot of push-ups at camp. I don't know how to pronounce that to learn. Okay, so you had to do a lot of push-ups to learn the NCO Creed. Yeah, I think like when I was trying to learn the NCO Creed, I just like say it a lot. Like I would just, just be going through it in my head if I had some spare time in the evening, doing stuff at work, try to like recite it while I was working, all sorts of things like that. Try to find different ways to try to do it. You talked about unit history earlier. I found a piece of paper in my orderly room with my unit's history. I copied it and placed it in my leader's book. Good info for Spur Ride or Soldier of the Month board. Yeah, usually you got to know the history of the unit for like the NCO of the NCO promotion board or Soldier of the Month board. Those kind of things. They'll probably grill you on some of the history of your unit. So it's good to, if you're doing those kind of things, to know your unit's history. Warming up for the push-ups, that's what I'm looking at. I mean, we're at 79 likes right now. There's only, so far I see right now, currently 48 people here in the stream. Unless there's a good chunk of those 48 people that have not liked the stream, might be kind of rough. Might be kind of rough getting that 100, especially since we're probably only about 5 more minutes away from probably ending the stream, probably too. It sucks trying to memorize pre-jump. I don't know what pre-jump is. Is there like a thing you have to do for jump school? Is 2 years the shortest National Guard contract? Probably. Usually, I think the military in general or Army in general, I don't think you can do 2 years. And then it depends on your MOS. Like, that's usually only available for certain MOSs. If you're, like earlier, you were talking about, like, what was the CID? That's not going to be probably an option for that kind of MOS. Usually only very few MOSs have that option. Like some of your MOSs have like really short AITs kind of a thing where they can get a lot of it out of you. And it's not usually even like of actual 2 years. It's usually a little bit more than 2 years. It's like 2 years, not counting your initial training kind of a thing. So it's kind of like you're usually kind of wishy-washy on that. But yeah, 2 years is a tough contract to get. to be able to get those kind of things. And there's a lot of MOSs that are not available for you to do a 2-year enlistment. Like 88 Mike, I think, was because they have only a 5-week AIT, but you have an AIT that's 8 weeks, 10 weeks, a year. You're not going to get a 2-year contract. It's not going to be available to you. Sometimes you have to do a 4-year or 8-year contract. For some MOSs, it wants you to do an 8-year contract because it's longer, a 6-year contract, actually, for some MOSs. If you could be a drill sergeant, would you, when you were in, would you be one? No, probably not. I probably wouldn't want to deal with that. A lot of crazy hours, a lot of babysitting, kind of, I feel like, almost in a way. Just a lot of crap that goes along with it. If I had to be either a drill sergeant or a recruiter, I probably would rather be a recruiter, probably rather than a drill sergeant. I feel like that'd be rough hours. I've known people that were drill sergeants, and that's usually the big thing that they hated was a lot of long hours, a lot of long days, a lot of crap you have to deal with these young soldiers, sometimes getting in trouble in the barracks or doing things they're not supposed to be doing, so that'd be pretty rough. Any fun things to do in Kuwait? No, not unless like a USO tour comes through. Like when I was in Kuwait, my first deployment for, because we started off in Kuwait for like the first 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, something like that. And there was a band, Edema, that came through and did a performance for us. That was pretty cool. I've seen before, like when I was already in Iraq, they Five Finger Death Punch or some other awesome band like Avenged Sevenfold would come to Kuwait, and I'd be like, what? Why the hell couldn't they come to Kuwait when I was there? Or at least Iraq then. So sometimes that kind of stuff is cool. Outside of that, I mean, you can't go and check out the local area, so you won't get to do that. You're stuck to the base you're at. Like if that's your deployment, you're going to Kuwait for a deployment, you're going to be there for 6 months, a year, whatever, you're stuck on base. You're not going to get to check out anything really. If you get to go to like Arifjan is a nicer base in Kuwait that actually has like a good PX and a little mini mall and stuff like that. So that's kind of nice. If you're at Buren, there is barely anything at Buren. So there ain't much of anything to do if you're stuck at Buren for a long time. Like I said, thankfully, all the times I went to Kuwait, it was always for short periods of time before I went into Iraq. So nobody's perfect during basic. Even if you do everything perfectly, the drill sergeants or the drills will find some reason to yell at you. Never take it personally. Pretty much the thing. That's their whole job. Gotta sneeze. Maybe not. That's their whole job is just to make it rough on you, to make sure you can handle the pressure and make sure you can get through it. So you can do everything perfectly, and they got to find something, even if they got to make it up, to make sure that you are tested on your mental capacity and physical capacity and everything they have to do. Can you create a video specifically about Army ROTC? I don't know if that would vary based on the college. That'd be tough. Like I would probably at one point in time it'd be tough though. Might do one on West Point maybe, but ROTC, that's going to vary based on the college. So like if I tried to do one based on what it's like going to ROTC in Colorado, right, at maybe like the CSU University, right, that might be different from someone who goes to college somewhere else. So I feel like that'd be kind of difficult. There might be a lot of it that is similar, but there's probably also some things that kind of vary based on the college too. So I don't know. I don't really know if that would be something I would do because I feel like it'd be kind of tough. As A Mike, how often do convoys also have you worked with other operations from other branches? Not very often. So like in garrison, like not being deployed just at your unit kind of a thing, never. I never did anything. That's not to say there might be locations where you might do it occasionally, but all of my experience of a little over 10 years, I never worked with any other branch when I wasn't deployed. When I was deployed, it was still pretty rare. There was maybe once or twice during both deployments where I did a little bit of stuff with some Air Force individuals, and I think there was once where we did some stuff with some Marines. And that was about it. But the majority, 99% of the time, it was just Army individuals we were doing stuff with. Nope. We got, all right, we're probably going to end the stream here in a little bit. Let's see. Let's do a couple more questions and we're ending it. Let's do 2 more of the current ones, and then we'll do one last new question before we end it. So maybe a total of 3 questions-ish, give or take a little bit here or there. But don't forget, if I did not answer any of your questions, or you had a question you didn't get a chance to ask, then make sure you hit me up on Instagram. Link is down in the description box down below. Go follow me. I need to up my Instagram game. We need to get those numbers up there. And then just shoot me a message with there. Let's see. We're gonna do 3 more questions. What are some really good ones? Do you ever do? Oops, where'd it go? Do you ever do NCO of the quarter boards? They can have that kind of stuff. NCO of the month, NCO of the quarter, NCO of the year. I never did any of the NCO of the month or quarter or year boards. I did a Soldier of the Month board, but it was mostly as practice for the E5 board, for the Sergeant board to get promoted to E5. After I made E5, I don't think I ever did any more NCO boards. I don't think. Not that I remember anyways. So, but I mean, that is a thing that some people do, and they might get volunteers for that kind of a thing. Let's see. Trying to see what would be 2 more questions. Does marriage work in the Army National Guard? I mean, go to the courthouse, go to a wedding, kind of thing. You're talking about specifically like for like your BAH and BAS and stuff like that. I mean, if you show like a copy of your marriage certificate, so they have you in the records as being a married soldier, then you make slightly more money when you're on drill, but you're in the National Guard, so you're not getting that full BAH or BAS. You're just getting that partial for the amount of time you're there for drill, kind of a thing. So you get a little bit more than the single soldiers will, but there is no barracks or anything else like that. You got to have a day job probably to fund your housing expenses and everything. They'll probably, when you go to do drill, they sometimes will either put you up in a hotel or in some kind of barracks, or depending on what the training is, somewhere's there for that time frame. But outside of your drill time frame, it's on you to get yourself a place to live and have another job, because it's more of Army National Guard, Army Reserve is a part-time thing. You can't live off of that kind of income unless you have some kind of other income coming in from somewhere else. Let's see. Let's do one last question. We'll do this one here. Reclassing. How does that work? Do I have a video on that? Might have actually a video on that, but typically, it depends, right? If you'd have to try to re-enlist for that, right? I think I have a video on this. It probably talks about this more in depth than what I'm about to go into. But if you're getting towards the end of your contract, let's say you did a 4-year contract in the Army, right? And you're doing 4 years as this MOS and you don't like it and you want to reclass to something else, then you can choose to re-enlist and try to reclass to another MOS if it's available. But that's still an if. There's no guarantee. Because if the MOS you want to do is over strength, or you don't qualify for it, then you can't get it. So that still has those kind of factors involved in there, that kind of stuff. So you can't just go and like, I've been in the Army for a year, I don't like this MOS, I want to change it. No, you usually can't do that unless for some reason your MOS is over strength and they need to get rid of people. But otherwise, yeah, you're stuck in that MOS until you're towards the end of your contract, and then you have to do that. I think I have a more in-depth video on changing your job in the Army. If you want to get more in depth with it, look for that video on my channel and you probably can find it. So what did we get to? 85? Yeah, I don't think there's 15 of you here that haven't liked the video. If you haven't liked the video, maybe we can make it just that much closer to that 100. But hey, we didn't make it to the hundreds. That means you're supposed to go and, honor system. You're supposed to go do 100 push-ups after this live stream ends. You don't have to do them all at once. You can do, 10 now, wait an hour, do another 10 or 15, do 20 now, 20 later, maybe wake up in the morning and do 20, whatever you got to do, right? I'm just trying to help better you, get you a little bit better, right? So we didn't make that awesome goal of 100 likes. Maybe next live stream, like I said, I get it. There's probably people that are, still recovering from a hard Thanksgiving weekend kind of a thing, right? Now, if your question didn't get answered, it's really easy to hit me up, okay? There's no excuse. You easily can just go and hit me up on Instagram. Go over to my Instagram. I have the link down below. You can search for me on Instagram. You can go and find me very easily. Hit that follow button. Do me a solid. Send me a direct message. I check my DMs, okay? And I will get back to you probably a couple days, maybe a few hours, maybe less than a week. Usually it's usually less than a week kind of a thing, and I'll answer your questions, right? If you have questions, as long as it's, you know, not something stupid, I guess. Sometimes if it's something I already covered in a video, I'll probably just shoot you a link to that video sometimes. It just kind of depends on what your question is, but you can get your question still answered, right? If you didn't get a chance to get it answered during this live stream, you can get it answered probably by instant messaging me on Instagram. You can join the Discord channel. If you're not a member of the Discord channel, check the link down in the description box for the link to the Discord channel. It's free. It's an amazing community where you can interact with other people, to learn about the Army, to just make new friends, maybe hit up some veterans, because there are some verified veterans inside the Discord channel where you can ask questions and ask them what the Army is like and all that kind of fun stuff. So make sure you check that out, and any other links that are down there. There's ways you can support me, you know, without having to super chat or whatever. You can just watch my videos, or there's also affiliate links down below. So if there's something that you need that maybe I have an affiliate link for, then hey, maybe you can knock out two birds with one stone, do some Christmas shopping, also indirectly support this channel through the affiliate links. So thank you guys so much for coming to hang out. I have a brand new video tomorrow, a reaction video. So if you're into that kind of thing, check that out. Wednesday should be a pretty cool video. I got a good video that's been needed to come. It's a sequel kind of a thing, I guess, to a recent successful video. So that'll be coming Wednesday, as long as I am successful in getting it edited together. It's already been shot. I just have to finish doing the editing process. And a new video Wednesday. So Monday, Wednesday, and probably even a new video on Friday will drop. So make sure to check that out. Thank you guys so much for coming to hang out. Hopefully you guys have a great week. Have an awesome evening. All that kind of fun stuff. Thank you so much. Have a great one. See you next time. See ya.